Hello there, everybody. Against my better judgment, I will be doing a little live stream tonight. Not for long. Actually, no, it could go for a while, but what I mean more so is I have some other work that I need to do, so I will be radio silent for probably the majority of this, but that doesn't mean I won't share it anyway. We are in my upgraded Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, upgraded from a standard edition now to the Aviator edition to get some more airplanes. And recently had a lot of my pilots flying and knew I needed to upgrade them. I have upgraded now to First Officer and will be working towards Captain. But because I'm First Officer, I'm allowed 15 pilots, I think it is, which means I can get some much bigger airplanes. We can get much bigger jobs, and more importantly, I can get co-pilots, because you can't fly these bigger airplanes without co-pilots. So, I have all these different planes here: Beechcraft, Citations, King Airs, which is the same as a Beechcraft. And then I have two planes for myself, and today I'm going to fly the Pleiades PC-24, really beautiful bird, but I also have the Citation Longitude, both great airplanes. So I'm going to be flying in the Coronado Pleiades PC-24. So I got to find a job. This will be a scenario where we're going to fuel up, take off, get all the GPS, IFR, and all that sort of stuff. Get all that stuff set up, and then I got a lot of editing to do, and then we'll go radio silent, but at least you'll see setup, take off, all that jazz, and then landing. But the cool thing is we can get much bigger jobs with much more payout, and we can also get some pretty cool distance. We can fly a pretty good way. Looks like our range is 2,040, so we can easily take this 1,850 job. No, we can't. It's too heavy. Let's find one that's not as heavy. Whoa, they're all quite heavy. What's our weight? Max fuel range payload 2,500 or 7 passengers. So I can't take these. Why? Too heavy? Not enough remaining cargo pack capacity. 697. Do I already have a job? No additional jobs. I bet you my co-pilot and flight attendant are part of my problem, but that's fine. Let's see if we can fit something that better fits our payload right now. Can I only really do 697? Let's set this. No, distance max is fine. My weight, let's bring it down to about 700 or 800 and see. Yep, that's what's going on. I can only take one job for 12 grand. No. We're going to see if we can change that. So, I'm going to take back what I just did. Let's get a little less fuel. There we go. Now we can have 2,000 pounds of cargo. So, gas definitely does play a role. So let's go ahead and refresh this. Now I should be able to take 2,057. So all these jobs should be accessible now. Here we go. Not as many experience points. That's unfortunate. 163,000. I am fine with that. So we'll go ahead and get that job. And then I'm going to go fuel up the rest of the way until I overfill. Which, boom, there we go. That zeroes me out. By the way, the microphone is picking up my 3D printer that has been working hard for about 5 days in a row now. Working on a 3D print for a client for mounting cameras in their studio that I designed a long time ago and didn't ever expect I would need it again, but here we are. Okay, so let's go ahead and see where we're going to be flying to. KGON. Klingon, not exactly. Let me go ahead and move this off screen here and start building stuff out. Let me also log into my flight system on my separate computer that I have over here. So I have a very old Surface Pro, I think it's like a 4 or 5, and I have this running Mini Nav Map, and I love it. When I remember if I log in, boop, there we go. and I can connect it to my computer over here, so that way I can see my navigation in a nice, comfortable way. So let me get it logged in here. And if you're on a system that doesn't have, if you're on a DSP, you're switching IPs all the time. So let me get connected. There we go. Okay. So let's go ahead and build out where we're going to. We're in KGTF, my home airport. KGTF. And we will be flying to KGON. Going to London? Serious? Am I going over water? Whoa. How is that possible? How is that possible? Oh, New London. I didn't realize there was an... Okay. I was about to say. So we will be flying real time, because I would like to use my little nav map. So let's go ahead and save. There we go. So we are live now. Wow, I've never flown over there. That will be a very interesting and very long flight. We'll probably do some 6 hours. Yeah, we're going to be speeding that up a lot. And I hope I have enough fuel. I guess we're going to find out the hard way here. I might have to land along the way, or we'll see what happens. Okay, let's go ahead and get this set up. We definitely need to be at a ramp to load up our guests. And let's go ahead and start our flight.
Hello, Captain. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. So let's go ahead and quickly build this in my little nav map over here.
Hi, pilot. New mission, new passengers. Let me know when you are ready to start boarding.
KGON Bush. All right.
Captain, we have opened the gates for boarding. The passengers are on their way.
Groton, New London is programmed in. 1,707 nautical miles. Look at this beautiful plane, though. Nice. Here's what we're flying today. Okay. We got a little bit to do to get her ready. Not a big deal, though. She's a pretty easy plane to get set up. Look at these wheels, though. It's very interesting tires on this thing. Okay. Let's go ahead and get the hoods off the back of the plane. Excuse me.
Transporter, boarding is complete.
Whoa!
You can start your flight.
That's cool. I've never seen rainbow in this game. Nice touch. Didn't realize. Okay. All right. Let's load up. Okay, we are in the Pleiades. Look at this beautiful cockpit. Let's go ahead and get into not our flight planner. We can upload our flight plan if we really want to. And actually, it's already in there. I meant from little nav map, but let's go ahead and move forward on this. Pilot, I'm a little bit heavier, so we're going to go ahead and compensate and say 200, even though I'm more, but still 200. We'll bump this one up to 200 as well. Okay. I'm going to have to check on my 3D printer here in a second, because I want to make sure that it's holding the proper temperature. It swaps back and forth, because this is a very old print. Hey, it is raining in Great Falls, so look at that. It's raining out here, too. That's very cool. I love how it pulls from real stats. That's cool. No wonder the rainbow's out there. Okay, so let's finish our weight and balance. We need to... We go to our system. We're missing 926 pounds. So let's go ahead and put 200 in passenger 2, 200 in passenger 1. Let me do 200 here. We're technically supposed to only be carrying 2 passengers. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and first reduce these down to 0, and that puts 4 people in the plane. 486 pounds. So let's go ahead and do the rest. 486 which should see what it does to our MAC. Very reasonable. We're matching up. All right. There we go. So let me go ahead and check on this 3D print, and then we're going to get ready to take off. All right, I am deeply glad I checked on that because, yes, absolutely, my printer wasn't at the right temperatures. All right, let's go ahead and begin our startup sequence. Get our plane and run. Let's get the batteries turned on. There we are. Okay. Go ahead and turn on our lights. All right, beacon is on. I always get in trouble for not having landing lights on.
Okay.
Okay, good. Let's make sure everything's booting up properly. All right, let's go ahead and do left engine start. Right engine start. We should hear that coming up here in a second.
Great Falls ground. Legacy Air India Mike
You're
Sierra
good to go.
8022
Contact the tower for
Echo.
clearance.
Request taxi for takeoff. South departure.
I see us coming up here. That's good.
India Mike Sierra 8022. Taxi to and hold short of runway 21 via taxiway Romeo for Alpha Alpha 1.
Okay.
Contact tower on 118.7 when ready.
I would like to arrive on the ILS.
Alpine Air 15906. Acknowledge last transmission.
So we're going to come in on the ILS.
Taxiing. Hold short runway 21 via taxiway Romeo 4 Alpha Alpha 1. Legacy Air India Mike Sierra 8022.
So with our ILS approach, let's see, I don't think I have this programmed in here.
Alpine Air
Change it
15906.
here.
IFR flight plan is canceled. Radar service terminated. Squawk 1200. Maintain VFR. Frequency change approved. Good day.
All right, so that's all of our comms. Let me see how we can change this. I haven't completely learned my systems here, and they're not all communicating very well with my systems yet. 111.3. Okay, there we go. So let's go ahead and apply that. Now that's not going to happen for forever, so if we were trying to do this with a OBS or whatever, it's going to take forever, but we're not. We're just going to do GPS. That's just going to simplify things by a lot. Looks like our trim is improperly set, so let's go ahead and set our trim. There we go. Okay. At this point, I think we're about ready to move. Let's go ahead and start building out our altitude. Yeah, see, nothing's happening with my altitude. Let me check something here real quick. I'm wondering if my my system's turned on. My SPAD next. There it is. There it is. Doesn't look like it was booted up, so hopefully now, once it's done updating, hopefully we will have communications. I have a MIDI mixer made for writing music,
Great Falls Tower.
and I have it with a bunch of knobs, controls for heading, navigations, altitudes, auto throttles, and FLCs.
Horizon Air 2310. Altimeter 29902.
There we go.
Cleared for takeoff runway 21.
Alright. Alright. Ooh, Windows USB Enhanced Power Management is enabled for SciTech. I just plugged them in.
Cleared for takeoff runway
Okay,
21.
I'm going to dismiss that for now.
2310.
I just installed those, so I'm very curious if that's going to be an issue. We'll find out. Our heading is working now. Altitude's working now. Let's go ahead and put this up to 20,000. Okay. FLC at this point, I don't have that activated. I think we're just ready to get in the air. So let's go ahead and do radios and get ourselves airborne. ATC, COM 1. Great Falls, ATIS. Let's see if we get an ATIS program.
Great Falls Airport information echo 0000 Zulu. Wind 198 at 14.
Ooh.
Visibility 10. Sky condition. Few clouds at 14,200. Temperature 29er. Dew point 12. Altimeter 29990. Visual runway 21 in use. Landing and departing runway 21. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have echo.
Alright, so we're taking off runway 21 today. And we have echo.
Great Falls Airport information Foxtrot 0000 Zulu. Wind 198 at 14. Visibility 10.
Well, did I say 108 at 14? So 14 knots winds.
Temperature
19 or 8.
Dew point 12.
Okay,
Altimeter
let's go ahead and go to ground. So 19 or 8. 14 knots. There's a bit of wind that we're going to be fighting, that's for sure. Okay. Let's see. Ground services. Back to clearance.
Horizon Air 2310. Please acknowledge.
Okay, checking my rudder pedals. Yep, good. Okay. Since we're not getting our ground services for taxi,
Horizon Air 2310. Please acknowledge.
I have no idea who they're talking to. It's definitely not us. Alright, well, I guess we'll just go ahead and get on the way. Sometimes this system can be incredibly glitchy. Now, I'm willing to try one more thing, but I would like to get in the air immediately. We'll try to program the control tower. It's 118.7. We are at 118.7. So right now, 118.7 is not giving us any controls to be able to get permissions to take off. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it, and we're going to get in trouble later. But what do you do? Okay. Throttles all the way down. There we go. Alright, so we do have a 2-throttle system. There's one, there's the other. Both up, both down. And I think I also have a reverse programmed. Doesn't seem like it for this plane. There is an air brake that I haven't programmed in yet, but that will get there. Alright, let's go ahead and release our parking brakes and throttle up just by 10% or so, and let's see how quickly we start moving here. There we are. Alright, using the rudders. I gotta get used to actually using my real foot rudders now, because I actually have them. Same with the brakes. I actually have brakes on the rudder pedals too, so gotta get used to that as well. Okay, flaps 10 degrees for takeoff. Alright, let's get on the foot brakes. Very nice. I admit, this is... the rudder pedals, for me, there is no politically correct way to say this. I'm squeezing my balls to death to have my legs this close together to run my rudder pedals. Does that make any sense? Let's just say I need a wide stance. Is that a compliment? I don't know. Okay. Alright. You know what? I didn't check if I'm actually going the right direction. Yes, I am. I'm interested to see why that plane's being so crazy over there. What just happened to that plane? What is going on with that airplane? That doesn't look right at all. What? 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 I don't understand what I just saw. Okay. All right. I truly don't understand what I just saw. Alrighty. I have not gotten used to this system yet when it comes to the GPS units, but it should be fairly simple since the flight plan is already in the airplane, so hopefully we won't have too much to worry about. Just going to check this comm one more time. Request takeoff. Now we have it. Who knows why?
Tower, Legacy Air India Mike Sierra 8022 at runway 21 ready for departure.
We're not at runway 21 yet.
Legacy Air India, Mike Sierra 8022. Altimeter 29990 departure to the south approved. Cleared
Okay.
for takeoff runway 21.
10-4.
Cleared for takeoff runway 21. Legacy Air India Mike Sierra 8022.
We do have a little bit further to go, so I wasn't sure if we were even going to have those comms. Just because this thing is stupid sometimes. But hey, we're going to make this work. Okay. We only have 2 people with us flying out to KGON. But at least we'll be able to manage them because we do have 1 flight attendant with us. So it'll be fairly easy to take care of them and their needs. All right. Nearing the end of the runway here, let's do some toe brakes. Okay. All right, so we're going to be dealing with a lot of wind. Coming out of 1908, 14 knot wind. Might not sound like much, but I found when you're on these rudders, things can get a little messy. All right. I am so used to running the rudders on my hands. It is so cool and so annoying to try to run them on my feet, but I'm very, very thankful to have them. I really wanted rudder pedals, and I got them in 2 days ago. Just plugged in the USB and they were ready to rock. Very thankful for that. All right. Runway 21. We are good to go. All right, here we go. Our trim for a very gentle takeoff, hopefully. Okay, we got problems. I am full right rudder. Full right rudder. I don't know what happened there. Completely full right rudder.
Bon
Let's
voyage,
release that.
aircrew. We hope to see you again soon.
That was terrible. All right, gear up, flaps up, trim down. That was disgusting. That felt terrible. Throttle back.
Great Falls Tower, Legacy Air India Mike Sierra 8022. Continue for south departure.
On stream deck. Whoa. Okay, on stream deck, we're going to go ahead and do navigation on, altitude mode on, VS mode on,
Mike Sierra 8022. Leaving my airspace.
autopilot on.
Great Falls Tower.
Going to go direct
Legacy
to,
Air India Mike Sierra 8022. Frequency change.
and we're ready.
Great Falls approach. Legacy Air India Mike Sierra
Direct to.
8022. Is type the latest PC
Activate.
24. 2 miles northeast.
All right,
Tango
let's see if the
Tower.
plane takes over and does its thing.
Request flight following.
Legacy Air India Mike Sierra 8022. Great Falls approach. Walk 6722.
Launching the plane's trajectory on little flight map,
Legacy Air
little nav
India
map.
Mike Sierra 8022.
Seems promising.
Legacy Air India Mike Sierra
Okay.
Roger. Legacy Air India Mike Sierra 8022.
Guess I should have turned these on. Let's see. Okay, we're doing good. One thing I haven't found yet is our oxygen. I mean, sure, I think that's the oxygen mask there, very likely. But I mean, like, where's my... Oh, passenger oxygen. Well, nothing happened in there, so... Not sure if that's something I need to program in or not. Okay. Let's check our GPS. We are... Yep, nearing our course. Gorgeous. So right now, other than getting up to altitude, alright, oxygen push to activate. I'm not sure if I need that, because if that drops it from the ceiling, I don't want to freak out my passengers, but I am curious if that means... I don't think it means... as long as our cabin is pressurized, and of course I have no idea to know how to check that, I would assume. There'd be something here. Now, I fueled all the way up, I believe. So I might update my system and unfortunately break this a little bit to do that, but let me see before I do that. My NeoFly says I have a full tank, so unfortunately we will be adjusting our flight performance, fuel, maxing out our fuel. Total mass is too heavy, so I'm just going to pull it back until it's not too heavy. And unfortunately load the aircraft where this should have been done before flight, but there we go. So now we should have, yes, very solid fuel tanks. We should be good now. Okay. Okay, gone. Cabin altitude. Pressure 2.2. Cockpit and cabin. Looks like we're doing okay. Let's just set temperatures. Okay. Windshield. The ice, we're going to do low inside. Lead, no, IPS. Okay, cabin altitude, climb. If I understand that correctly. Alright. Very quickly, I'm going to go ahead and hop over into a Google, and I'm going to look up the Pleiades PC-24 cruise altitude. 45,000 feet. For optimal efficiency, high-speed cruise of 440. Let's see. Alright, 45,000 feet. Cabin altitude of just 8,000 feet when we're at 40,000 feet, so that's what we're going to do. Never flown that high before in any of my planes, so this will be new. Let's push it up to 40,000 feet. Alright, 40,000 feet is set. Vertical sync, I'm just going to give it a little bit more, 2,500. So we can get a little bit more of an arc, get up there a little faster. Alright. We are on direct trajectory. So far so good. 1,690 nautical miles away. Okay. Well, for now, we're just going to go ahead and keep climbing. And I'm going to go AFK. Plane's going to handle itself for now. I'll just manage it from a distance. And we'll probably just set an auto throttle here to just keep it in the air as best it can. Once we get up to 40,000 feet, we should be able to get a bit more speed out of this thing. We're doing 210 knots right now. This thing should do 400-ish. So we'll get up to speed and crank away. See how far we can get. So thank you so much for hanging out. Hope you enjoy it. And we'll do the boring stuff now, which is the long trip. I'm not going to speed it up too much. If I do, I actually want it to take a while so I can get some other work done. But I will be watching and maintaining it as best I can. And we'll see how it goes. All right. Y'all have a good flight. All right, my friends, welcome back. We are 121 nautical miles away from our landing. I've only landed this plane once, successfully, but it has been... It was a quick flight. It wasn't like a purposeful ILS approach or anything of that nature. Now, we do have a little bit to go yet. I mean, 122 nautical miles. Actually, I might be wrong. FMS is 122. We might be 325 nautical miles out. That seems more realistic, unfortunately. I believe we... excuse me. I believe we might be going about 3 or 4 times the real simulation. I think we're pretty sure we're going 3 or 4 times the speed. So when we get closer, we'll slow back. We're certainly making ground very, very quickly, so it will not take long, according to my little nav map next to me here on the left of me, that you can't see. This is a computer that I have set up to the side of me that is connected to Flight Simulator that allows me to see my progression and my flight plan and stats for the location of where I am. Like, we're going to be coming in at 299.5. Right now we are set on 299.2. So let's change that baro right now to 299.5. There we go. It's questioning baro right now, but once we get in location, that will match. Density altitude is 685 feet above sea level, which makes sense because it's right on the ocean. Right now, visibility 8.7 nautical miles. Wind 6 knots at 263 degrees. Temperature 70 degrees. Dew point 66, or 19 Celsius, or 66 Fahrenheit. No clouds, which is nice. Runway 23 or 33 is looking at a 4-knot crosswind or 5-knot crosswind. We will be landing on 05. Will be our ILS approach. We will be going... What? We ran out of fuel? I think we're bingo fuel. Unfortunately, to take care of this... Yep, we're out of fuel. All right, load aircraft. Load immediately. We are in an emergency situation. Let's see if we can start this. Oh, no. Okay. It's coming up, but we're going to stall here in a second. We're going to get our nose down. We're tip stalling. Speed's coming up. That was totally cheating, but a necessity. Okay. I'm going to give it back to autopilot. Whoa. Alright, we're still stalling.
Stall.
Okay. Taking control of my throttles. Okay. We're going to save this. Put my trim down. Oh my gosh. This is bad. Alright. I think...
Overspeed. Overspeed. Overspeed.
Okay. I think I'm regaining control here. Autopilot back on. It's going to get us back on course. Auto throttle back on. Okay, now our cabin altitude pressure is, well, it's coming back down, but it's not good. So right now our folks in the back are dying. Shouldn't be laughing about that, but yeah. So we just ran out of fuel. Not sure why. Saved it. Not happy about it. Our plane absolutely has the range to do this trip. So that's quite a frustration, whether that's based on our system here, which I'm just going to go ahead and put in a bit extra while we're at it, or totally cheating, unfortunately, or if it's like NeoFly connecting into the system and giving wrong stats. I kind of forgot, we actually just did all of that under double, if not triple the speed. Where's a normal clock in this thing? This thing is so intensely smart. I don't see a chronograph in here anywhere. Ridiculous. Well, we are still... the deviation that we did on that was pretty intense. We're still a reasonable amount out. 191. I am going to start sim rating back here and see if I can find what should be proper time. Though I'm really not sure what, since I don't have a chrono. That I can see, anyway. Alright, good. We're back within limits there. I'm blown away that I don't have a watch. Whoa, that's cool. And I tell myself to remember how much I did sim rate up or down. At this moment, I have no clue. So, I think what I'm going to do to save this is I'm going to quickly check our controls for sim rate. Sim rate Alt-R. Do. Select simulation rate, use plus and minus actions to change. Decrease and increase. So I kind of wish that there was a way to just reset to real time. So, you guys stay put. Reset sim rate to real time. MSFS 2024. To reset your sim rate to real time, you can use key bindings to adjust the speed, verify the exact speed in developer mode, or install handy add-ons like Sim Rate Selector from FlightSim.2. Because there's no dedicated reset to one keybind, most players use a manual workaround. Reduce sim rate by pressing right alt plus minus. Some pilots spam the decrease spam rate key 3 or 4 times to hit the minimum, and then hit the increase sim rate exactly 3 or 4 times in return. That is intriguing. Alright, we're going to try that. Alright, so I should be at my slowest now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And I don't know if 4 or 3 was correct, but what I would give for a chrono right now. I kind of doubt that I can install that right now. Sim rate selector. Download. Let's see if it'll work. Ooh, I gotta log in. I don't know if I have a login for this. Truly doubt that I'm going to be able to activate this. In any case now, even if I could get it. Source for flight sim add-ons. So sim rate. Sim rate selector. 71,000 downloads. Don't know about you guys, but that seems like a pretty big request that Flight Simulator maybe should consider versus having someone else do it for them. I don't know. Been kind of unimpressed with Microsoft Flight Simulator. I love Flight Simulator, but 2024 edition is focused more on its beauty than it is its compatibility, unfortunately. Alright. Really doubt this is going to work. I'd like to try since we are 151 miles out. Let's see. Is there any instructions on how to install it? Installation is simple. The offline use is supported. Just extract and move it into the community location. Okay. So this is not going to work. I don't know why I put so much effort into this. I mean, for future stuff, sure, but it's not going to give me what I need. All right, sim rate selector. Copy. I don't know how to get there now. Sim rate selector. Okay. Real-time update with simulation shortcut keys. Fully integrated with simulation events. No need for online simple installation. So yeah, that's not going to work for us now because there's no way that the software is going to recognize that at this moment unless it's been rebooted. Because if it was, it would show up right here. You know what? How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet? There it is. Oh, it's not showing seconds though. distance. Favorites bar. Nothing here representing seconds. Flight simulator. Come on, buddy. Alright, we're 130 nautical miles out. So, for better or for worse, since I'm not entirely sure what we got, we're going to go ahead and begin our descent. Altitude down to 10,000 feet. Well, we're going to go 7,000 feet. We're going to do, I don't know if this thing has FLC. Yes, it does. So FLC. Okay. All right. Start beginning our descent now. I mean, it's going to take a long time to get down to the ground anyway. So by the time we get down there, we're over top Catskill Park right now. Here, I mean, it looks like we're making very, very quick progress. A little too quick. Weather. So if this was here, this is where it would show up, supposedly. And of course there's nothing like that right now. So alright, well, we're definitely descending at a reasonable speed, 3,200 feet per minute, which is pretty fast. Hoping that's not too fast, but we'll see. Alright, we're coming down fast. 23,000.
UPS 1013, Boston Center. Radar contact continue.
All right. Now we're going to go ahead and switch over to heading mode. This means that I'm taking over for... oops. There we go. There we go. So I'm taking over for the GPS so I can start getting us towards the ILS. We're coming in fast. That airport is going to be somewhere up here. Let's go ahead and come back on that heading just a tiny bit. I'm leaning towards us heading towards a waypoint, which I don't usually do waypoints, but this one might be a good time. There is a waypoint called V-Pult that might be a good fit for us.
Exit tree 02. You are 300 above your assigned altitude. Maintain present altitude altimeter to 991. Descend and maintain 2300. Exit tree 02.
Okay, so we're going to try and see if I can get this thing to play nice. Track 2. Remove waypoint. It's not doing it. Interceptor, amend route. So we're going to alter. And we're going to go V-Pult. And see if it'll read it. Alright. What do we got going on here? Alright, we're level. Alright, we're going to go ahead ahead and delete the waypoint. Invalid entry. Default center map direct to. Activate. I'm learning. Alright, so we should be in alignment with VPOLT now once we go back on nav. So now, let's see if it redirects according to my plans. Let's see if that gets us in a better area. Alright, 59 nautical miles out. So we are not far from our landing approach. Let's get our head in gear for landing for ILS. I'm seeing a lot of airports up ahead here, but none of them are our key airport. It's going to be up there quite a bit further. Yes, we are definitely on track for VPOLT. So that's going well. Though our turn will be slow once we get there. Maybe we'll try this. Do amend route, and instead of VPOLT, we'll do FLIBB. Let's activate to FLIBB. Why didn't it redefine it? Delete. Waypoint. Guess I'll redirect here first, direct to FLIBB. The plane is compensating, so FLIBB puts us a little further away, so it gives us more time to turn in to the runway smoothly. Now we've already programmed in our ILS approach, or our DME1. Slow it all the way down. Sounds right, but I don't know how true that is. Alright, it's time to get our speed back. So, we're going to go ahead and start with the FCL, or FLC, that is dyslexia. So let's go ahead and bring it down to 160 as we pull back here. Hopefully we won't have any issues. Let's go ahead also and get our plane down to 4,000 feet, vertical sync or vertical speed. We're just going to take our time, 500 feet per second. It's not going to take us long to get down there. And I think we're ready to go ahead and swap to nav 1. That's only for audio. Let's figure out how we do it through our system here. Usually CDI in the airplane. Nope, that's not working. So we're going to go ahead and... how do we switch? If I do nav 1 here, that's not doing anything. If we do DME 1, that's only for audios. I really got to watch my speeds. I'm hoping that I'm not going to have a problem here. Let me see. XPDR, ADF. We can swap back and forth, and we did have a read. There it is, IGON. But it's not showing on here, and I'm wondering why that is and how we fix that. So we are flying nav. Let's do heading with approach. But once again, take a look here. That is not redirecting, and approach is not triggering. So that is part of my problem right now. Okay, wait a minute. Wait. Nav select. Here we go. So lock 1 on IGON. So that's locked in. That is very good. Now we should be able to do approach. Approach is giving me nothing. That's not good. Okay. Lock 1 is logged in. Interesting that navigation turns on when I try to turn on approach. That has me slightly confused. It's not going to take us long to get lined up for this runway. Right now it's still saying navigation, though I want heading. So what if I turn off heading? Interesting. Navigation is very much confusing me. I don't know if that's because we're supposed to have additional, more intense programmings in here. Alright, we are sitting at 160. Alright, coming out over the water now. Runway's probably somewhere over here. We are not going to be lined up until we get over this area over here. There's some islands ahead of us. Yeah, so we can see here that we're coming up on FLIBB. Right now, we are not utilizing the navigation. I would prefer just to use the heading as we get lined up. But I'm becoming more anxious. some of these planes are so fancy that something as simple as telling it to do an approach may require programming it into our flight plan, which I'm not prepared to do. I don't have the knowledge of. This is interesting. HSI. Okay. ET elapsed timer. Navigation preview. Not sure what that is. I'm sure I can find out, but not something I'm worried about at the moment. There's our runway. Okay. So we are about to begin alignment with the runway now. Problem I'm about to have is no ILS. Oh, now it's on. Maybe we weren't close enough? Okay. Let's go ahead and change our heading towards hitting that ILS. Looks like we have a ground slope. So, or glide slope. So that's a good sign. Flaps are coming down. And we also have gear down. Okay. Yes, we're definitely below the glide slope, which is good. Heading has us about to connect with the runway. Turn us a little bit more. That way the plane's not going to have to turn as hard once we hit it. Coming over V-Polt here shortly. V-Polt is the original... should have programmed it in here, actually. V-Polt was the original entry waypoint. I am concerned that by the time we get lined up, we might be above the glide slope. So if that continues, I'm actually just tempted to do it now. Let's see if we can do this. Bring this down to, I was thinking 3,500, but 3,000. Boop. I'm just going to go ahead and put us down 400 feet per second. We are sitting 162. Let's go ahead and bring that back as well. Somewhere in the 130s. 135. See if this plane can stay afloat at 135. That might be a little too low. We should be hitting... Yep, localizer's on. Glide slope is still on. We should be hitting that localizer here right about now. There it is. Alright, turning to base. I never called in, unfortunately. Boy, we feel up super high. Okay, I'm not liking this at the moment. Looks like 110 is our goal. Good alignment with the runway there. I'm going to go ahead and bring this down to 120 and pray that we don't hit any issues there. We are still not lined up with our glide slope. It is not locked in yet. Alright, 123. I think I'm good for that, for coming in for a landing. So let's make sure that our lights are on. Okay. Okay. Once again, I can't really tell if I'm flying at speed or not, and I just remembered I have rudder pedals, so let me get my feet on the rudder pedals here. Ooh, the anxiety is swinging. Alright, glide slope is locked in now, which doesn't make any sense because I can barely see the runway. There we are. It's a little too high, though. Okay. Alright, there we go. Alright, 124, 123. We are 2,700 feet locked in with a glide slope. That is excellent. Now we just gotta watch out that we don't stall. We are full flaps. We are geared down. We do not have the air brake on. We won't, as far as I can tell, we won't have a need for an air brake as well. Alright, our landing approach, we are definitely on board now. There is no going back. Double checking my math for the airport. Stats say that we are 29905. We are 29905. Reading at 7 knots, 273 degrees. So there's going to be a little bit of a crosswind over runway. We're coming in on runway 5. Which is very interesting because this isn't even showing the runway 5. 2333. So if we're on runway 23, which we're not, we're on the opposite, and it says a 5-knot crosswind, it would be a 5-knot crosswind from the opposite direction. And according to that, I don't know, I'm not good at math. This will lead to our death. That's the basic idea. The good news is my plane did survive this long trip so far, if I can land this properly. Still on glide slope. 1,200 feet. Locked in on the what do we call those? Patty lights. 120. Let's go ahead and go 115. Try not to stall. I am still full autopilot right now. The plane's doing the work. Let me get my chair ready so I'm on my rudder controls. I'm still not used to these. I mean, I just got them day before yesterday. But they did feel kind of instinctual when I tried using them. Right now they're saying we're almost too low. 500 feet. Alright, autopilot is off. Throttle back. Trying to keep the nose down, watching my speed.
100.
Coming in low. Bit more throttle. Bit more throttle. A little too fast. A little too fast. A little too fast. Okay. Now we're just floating.
Nice landing, pilot.
Nope. We're in trouble. Full brakes, full brakes, full brakes, full
Transport
brakes.
from dispatch. Clear the runway and taxi to parking.
Full brakes. Full brakes. Oh, I'm doing all the brakes. Please stop. All right. Hey, are we in the grass? We're in the grass. Okay. So much for that. All right, I'm still trying to turn. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Oh, I don't care. Just stop in the grass for Pete's sake. Oh! Oh! Parking brakes on. Great landing. Shut this beast down.
Transporter, you can open the doors and begin the disembarkation.
That was so bad. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. Am I actually gonna make money from this? Let's see. Oh man, we floated in way too far. And when I was full brakes, it was still not slowing down. Now, yes, there are spoilers that I don't have programmed in to my systems here, which would have been incredibly helpful. And then,
Transporter from dispatch. Another passenger mission completed. Thanks, and bye.
wow, we just made $130,000 on a wreck. Technically, that was a crash.
Start your engine.
How's the plane? It's in pretty good condition after that. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me. Yeah, that's that's messed up. God bless you guys. See you later. Wow.